Hey guys, this is Tony from alphapursuits.com. In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the VIX numbers that I've been playing around with. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm shorting UVXY and VXX using options. And some of them are actually expiring in December, and right now it's November. So I know historically VIX tend to go down in December, but I just want to find out to what extent that happens. And of course, my hope is that right now VIX is hovering around 20-ish, and I'm hoping that it will go back down to 13 or 12 or even lower, so that I can get profit, clean profit. Let's put it that way. If it doesn't go all the way down there, I could roll it out, but at the same time, I'm obviously hoping that you will get down to 13 or even 12. So the data that I got from was VIX index historical data from SIBO, and as you can see, they have data from 2004 to present, and they have older data there. So what I used was 2004 to present because they have a different way of calculating VIX apparently before 2004. So after downloading the data, which is this raw data tab here, as you can see, there's VIX open number, VIX high, VIX low, and VIX close for each day from 2004 all the way to whenever the current data is. And since 2018 is not complete yet, so I just use all the way up to 2017 from 2004. So the first thing that I did was to plot this graph here. As you can see, the x-axis is the weeks, and then y-axis is the VIX value. So obviously, January, February, March, blah, 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 all the way down to December. So I drew roughly November and December line here to kind of visualize what happens in December, which is December line and beyond, and what happened in November, which is between November and December line. So obviously this is the highest one. This is 2008 when the financial crisis happened. As you can see, went back down and came back up again in November, and in December we just started declining. And in looking at other years here, we can also see some of them decline, but there are a few that seems to actually went up. So it's not as simple as I thought it was. So what I did was I started categorizing them and playing around with them with the actual numbers. So the first thing I did was the highest VIX value. So coming back here, I basically used this one right here, VIX high of each day, and I used pivot table, so that allows me to really easily get in these numbers. And so the question here is, did December number of the highest December number, what was the highest December number, higher or lower compared to the November VIX number of that year? That's essentially as simple as that. So the calculation is December highest VIX number of that month minus the November highest VIX number, and then that gives me the difference. So if it's negative, which is good because that means December is lower than November, and so just tally that, and it turned out there were 6 times December had a highest VIX compared to November, and then 8 times it had a lower. So this is a good start. It's more than 50%, seems like. Even when it went up the highest in December, it was still lower than November. Then moving on to the next one, which is lowest VIX value. So when we're looking at the lowest, what does that look like? So looking at the lowest, it seems that December did have lower when compared to lowest, and then there were 5 times that actually November, when compared to lowest VIX number, it was actually higher than December. So 9 times December had a lower number compared to November. 5 times November had higher than December. So again, this is pretty good indication that, you know, in December it seems like when looking at the lowest VIX, and that's right here, VIX low of that particular day, you know, that's the number that we use. December did have lower compared to November. And then I was interested in looking at what if we look at, you know, was the December lowest VIX value lower than 13? Because, you know, obviously that's the number I'm hoping to hit. And looking at that, apparently it's only 50%, 50-50. So, you know, there are 14 years worth of data here, and out of that 7 years, it did go below 13, but 7 years it did not. So, well, that's what it is. So apparently it's 50% that hopefully in 2018, this year, you will get lower than 13. Then looking at standard deviation. So this shows how volatile, you know, how much it actually move for the VIX number. So you can see in 2014, November, it moved up or down almost 1 point here. And in December, it moved up or down 0.67. So, you know, it shows you how volatile it is. And so what I want to see is, was December more volatile than November? And it seems like yes and no. You know, sometimes it was the standard deviation was higher. Sometimes it was actually lower. So, you know, 7 and 7, 50-50. And then here's the last number here, which is the closed number. So when we're looking at VIX close, the December had a higher sum. So I basically added up the closed number of that entire month. So here's the closed number. I basically added up the entire November of 2004, 2005, and so on. That's what this number here is, to see, you know, whether the cumulative VIX number is higher in December or in November. And it looks like most of the time, November cumulatively did have higher number than December. You know, 11 out of 14 times December did have a lower November number. So again, that's a good indication there, that, you know, hopefully in December the number will be much lower. Anyhow, so this is the finding, and I'm hoping, you know, the reason I did this is because I want to calm myself down by looking at the number here and see, you know, December is coming. Right now it's November. VIX is hovering around 20. Would it move in the right direction for me? Because I'm shorting UVXY and VXX. And obviously there's other factors, contango, you know, backwardation that could come in play when it comes to the actual you know, outcome. But just roughly and seeing it, I mean, it's promising. December will likely be lower. The VIX number will likely be lower, but again, who knows? So hopefully this data is useful for you as well. And if you like this video, please like the YouTube channel and visit alphapursuits.com, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.